We call it Survivor Studio. It's a nonprofit program of a nonprofit organization called Survivors Training that I started last summer. We would like to show you our studio, invite you to take a class for free. We offer
With each call that comes in, owner Wendy Rahn knows the word is spreading quickly about what goes on inside this studio and, more importantly, inside the minds and bodies of the women who come here.
A lot of chatting. Some wonderful exercise. It depends on the class. So, we do yoga. We have a really fun dance class called Nia. We do strength training in the afternoons, and so people will be here lifting weights and working with a trainer. We do a kids yoga class actually on Saturdays, which is really fun for actually kids in the general public as well, but especially members, children, and grandchildren. And on Sunday afternoons, we do partner yoga.
If you're thinking this sounds like a fun place to get fit, you're right, it is, but with one caveat that makes this exercise studio different from all the rest.
I mean, everybody knows in the back of their head, oh yeah, exercise is good for you, but this is very specifically focused on cancer recovery and cancer survival, and exercise for colon cancer and breast cancer can have enormous dividends.
So why would a U of M professor with a family and a very full life want to bear the added weight and risk of launching this new venture?
I was diagnosed with breast cancer in November of 2006. Cancer kind of gives you permission to rethink some of your priorities and take some risks. What's the worst that could happen to you? You have cancer. Well, I already have cancer, So, some people want to take some new risks, and so I did.
Armed with great passion and knowledge, this professor's risk-taking is backed by science and a belief in what the human body is capable of.
Because I'm a researcher at the U, my comfort zone is research, so I put my nose in the journals and tried to read up on the latest research, and I discovered that a lot of interesting things were coming out about the role of exercise after a cancer diagnosis in terms of improving survival times, reducing recurrence rates. And I wanted to share with other people this information that I had discovered because unfortunately the healthcare system wasn't. And so I was just also fueled by a little righteous anger.
Anger, fear, frustration, all common feelings for cancer survivors, and reason enough for Wendy to pursue hopeful options for women on a cancer journey.
I mean, when you get that initial diagnosis, your world is like turned upside down. And there's a lot of information out there. You're trying to absorb it. When you eventually, come up for air and you're thinking, well, what next? What is there anything else that I can do? What's really exciting about this is that there is something else people can do. What I tell people is you need to think of it as medicine. For some kinds of cancer, it can boost your survival odds as much as this chemotherapy regimen that you just spent 8 weeks feeling awful about. You're not going to feel awful for 8 weeks exercising.
Nora was diagnosed with a rare form of cancer 2 years ago and has been coming to Survivor Studio since it opened. She says she's feeling the benefits of her involvement here.
I think it does help with my mood, and it also makes me feel proactive, that I'm doing good things. Like this can only be good for me.
Now stretch forward.
Well, after I had my surgery, probably 3 months out, I really felt like I wanted to get some good exercise. And there wasn't really a place where I felt comfortable. The gyms were big, and they didn't really have anyone that specifically could help with a cancer patient. So then I met Wendy, and she told me about this, and I couldn't believe it. So I wanted to try it out, and I'm so glad I did.
Feeling good about coming to the studio goes beyond the personal health benefits that this training can provide. And while each woman's cancer journey is unique, those who travel it together enjoy a special bond.
Oftentimes, like when we introduce each other, we'll, just say, so what type of cancer do you have? What are you going through treatment? And you get used to that, and especially with someone else who has cancer, it's not as awkward, I guess, in a way. And we're always, asking how we're doing and kind of checking up on each other. But we don't feel like we have to talk about it either.
Typically, what we have people do is they fill out an initial health history and cancer history form. And then we learn about where they're at and how recently their surgery has been. Are they still in active chemo? And then we figure out what their goals are, what would they like to do, and what they're ready for, and we go from there.
Going from here as a beginner to there as a woman with new gained confidence is the focus of the specialized training provided by skilled and compassionate instructors.
They love helping people. They're really excited to be part of such an enterprise. They like working with the women. I mean, anybody who's in the fitness industry and working with people likes to see people get healthier. They're great.
Now, if you're in a comfortable point, just try to straighten your legs up.
I wouldn't trade the relationships that I have here with people, for anything. I like to say, I think that people with cancer, they shimmer. They have a grace about them.
Do you feel like you glow when you leave this place?
Yeah, I feel good when I leave, you feel lighter.